What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Wiseguys big Super Bowl betting breakdown special. Geek, Statsational, coming at you with everything you need for bets, fun, and good times for Super Bowl LVI. Let's do this. All right, we're back. And you know what? We're delayed a little bit because of a lot of big news in the Philly and New York region. Now, we're celebrating in Brooklyn. You guys are celebrating in Philly. And I don't know what's going on here, but what's going on? Tell me what's
So
happening.
wait, you're celebrating a guy who can't shoot?
We're celebrating getting rid of the cancer.
We're celebrating getting rid of the cancer.
Wait, what? What are you talking about? I thought that's what we were doing.
How great is that, man? We're both celebrating getting rid of somebody.
Both fan bases are like, finally.
Exactly.
Finally. You know what? Harden at this point, he's a sniper. I actually think he'll be great in Philly. He's the right guy for the team. He's the right guy. The Nets don't need a scorer. What they need is they need a defender. They need a basketball player.
Well, I got to tell you, it's a great move, actually. And it's weird because you have two teams, same division. It'd be like the Jets and the Patriots, making a blockbuster trading quarterbacks, right? Brooklyn does get what they need in Simmons, who could be a transition guy, who's a great facilitator, who is a really good defender, right? And you got to believe Kyrie will handle the ball. Ben will do runouts. And, KD's your man. And I actually think, it kind of fits. But I think for the Sixers, it's magic because you would have Embiid and Harden on a two-man game. And then you got Tobias Harris. You still get Tyrese Maxey off the bench. I think they're a true title contender.
Yeah, I think it's a win. I think it's listen, anytime Harden's a superstar, but he's not won a lot recently.
Yeah, but he's been buzzing around, right? Like, it's not like it's his fault. He got hurt last year, or I think they would have won Game 7, and they dispatched the Bucks. I think he's a good ball player. I still think he's a great player. I think the Sixers got 2 of the top 10 players in the game right now, so I think they're ready to win now.
Yeah, for sure. But our focus today is the Super Bowl and Super Bowl bets, and to help us out, we've got the master of games himself. He's not just a master of the Tampa strip club scene. He's also a master gamesman. John Statsational Allesia is here. Sharp app, #1 capper extraordinaire. What's up, John?
Not much, man. Just been grinding, there's so many props, and when we're going to get to them, you can lose your mind looking at these props, which I already have. And now I get to hop on with you guys and talk about some of these findings.
Stats, do you hang with Harden when he's in Tampa at the clubs?
I have not run into him. A couple of weeks ago, you were off the show, and I joined and I was on with Geek, and I was in the midst of. I actually never went to a Tampa strip club, believe it or not, even though I live outside of Tampa. And they're hugely popular. I think Tampa and Vegas might have the best strip clubs in the country. And I was giving him the whole lowdown. The wrestler Bret the Hitman Hart, his nephew Teddy Hart, who I ran into at a club one night. I wound up on a week-long, just every night hanging out with this guy. It was pretty crazy. We won't rehash it. You can go back and listen to it all. But I despite what the Geek says, I don't spend too much time in the clubs. But that was a wild 2-3 days with Teddy Hart.
I don't believe any of it. The Teddy Hart stuff, I believe. I don't hang out. I don't believe any of that. If I lived in Tampa and I wasn't married, that'd be where I have my dinner. Where are we going for dinner tonight? I'm gonna have wings.
I believe there's a place called Mons Venus.
Yes.
And there was a place called the Tanga Lounge.
Yeah,
that was
there's
close
there's
to the
like
Hyatt Hotel.
yeah, there's some like right near. If you went to the Super Bowl, I'm sure the Super Bowl was crazy last year. I was nowhere near that. They must have made a fortune, but yeah, there's like 5, 6 like really good ones right near each other.
I say that because in another life I was a sports writer, and I spent the Yankees train in Tampa.
Yep.
And,
Maybe. Yeah.
I know my way around. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's right across the street from where the Bucks play, where the
Right.
Yankees are. So yeah.
Right.
Been to the clubs. Now, I bet, right? Traveling sports writer, beautiful lifestyle. So, guys, I've got a really interesting one. So let's get right into the game.
Sure.
Let's talk about the game. And the most basic and obvious and clear of all bets is, against the spread bet. And I found something fascinating. And I really want both of your really sharp opinions on this. If you look at the Sharp app right now and you compare odds, which is a beautiful thing that we're able to do across all the sports books, it is a very, and I don't, is this normal? It's a very wide difference across sports books on the spread, and both at -110. So if you want to bet right now today on the Rams, you can get Rams at -3.5 on Caesars, -110 odds. The same bet on BetMGM, I mean, these are the two big ones, is -4.5. So there's a full, on the Super Bowl, John, there's a full 1 point difference, both -110. Number one, can I just arbitrage this shit and try to play for the middle? And is that even worth doing? And number two, is there a reason for that? Why is this happening? What's going on?
Yeah. So, I mean, the 4 middle, I wouldn't necessarily play for there with the 10-cent juice. It's not as uncommon as the 5, but 4 doesn't hit enough to really warrant playing for a middle. So you're going to want to just kind of pick the side on this game. The nice thing is, as you're pointing out, you can get 3.5 in one book. You can get the 4.5. Another book. So Caesars was the 3.5. Who had the 4.5? I forget. I looked at it.
MGM has 4.5, and if you go across, it's really Caesars is just about the only one at -3.5 that you really need. Caesars.
Yeah, I think
I haven't found another one.
Yeah, I think it was only Caesars because I looked. It was -4 early in the week, and I wrote in my article. I posted an article inside the app 2-3 days ago where I just didn't think this line was going to ever get past 4.5, but there was potential for it to get to 3.5, and I don't think 3 we ever see, right? Because moving these games to move between 3.5 and 4.5 is quite easy. For the reason we talked about, which is you don't want to play the middle there because it rarely happens, right?
It's not a football
number.
Land on.
Not a football number.
10.
Exactly. Like Anthony likes to talk about those football numbers, the 3, 7, and 10s. He likes to. He's always looking at those numbers, and there's good reason for that, right? So yeah, you'll see when the games are between like 4 and 5, 3.5 and 5. You could see a little bit more line movement than you will. If this game opened or was at 3, you'd see them move the juice before they wanted to get off that 3 because they don't want to open themselves up to a middle. So when it's 3.5 to 4.5, they could play around with that line a little bit. And I think, this is total speculation. I think some of these books with New York coming on board now, some new books coming on in Pennsylvania, and a lot of these other states becoming legal. I think it's something we used to call in trading having an axe, right? So if a bank had an axe, they would they may price a certain I was in currencies. They may price a currency better than everyone else on the market in order to get action, to get people to trade it at their shop. Same thing these sports books may be doing, which is, hey, you know what? I'll come in at 3.5. I'll take that risk here, and I'm going to try to get the new New York market to come in and make a bet here at the 3.5, and that's going to be a way because and I would totally suggest people to do that, which is have multiple sports books, and if you do like the Rams, go hit 3.5 at Caesars. So I think it's a smart marketing ploy, and I don't think it opens them up all that much to that much more risk.
Yeah, I also think it's a game where, I see it pretty clearly, at least in my eyes. I have a clear side that I like, and I like a lot. But I do think there is a lot of uncertainty, right? Like people look at it. I think they love the Bengals. They love the story of the Bengals. They've seen Burrow come back. He did it against the Chiefs, right? He's done it, all playoffs, all year, really. And they look at the Rams and they say there's something they don't trust about the Rams. So I think but they also recognize that the Rams are talented. So I think there's a bit of uncertainty in how they approach and kind of handicap the game.
Absolutely. And I mean, I agree with it. It's interesting that the world is rooting for the Bengals. Like it's the Joe Cool story and everything. Yep. But, you know, when rooting aside, and you would think that would get some betting. Also, underdogs have just been really good in Super Bowls at covering.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel that way too, in terms of, you know, these games likely to be closer. You know, I don't know if there's a blowout, but I do think there are some extreme mismatches across these two teams. Extreme mismatches.
I do too. It's why I love the Rams. I got to tell you, and I like the Rams to buck the trend of, you know, the underdog, the close games. I think the Rams are going to win this thing by double digits.
I love it.
And it starts and it ends, to me, up front. All right? Like, that Bengals line cannot stop the Rams front. And as good as Burrow is, and he's athletic, and we've seen him get away, he did it against the Chiefs and all, they're too good. They're too good up front. Aaron Donald's too nasty. The fact that you have Aaron Donald and Von Miller, and I just don't think that the Bengals secondary can handle Kupp and Beckham and Jefferson. I again, only if Sean McVay screws it up is it, to me, a double-digit win by the Rams.
I mean, if you look at the numbers, the Bengals' offensive line, one of the worst in the league, allowed 9 sacks against the Titans, who are fine. Much respect. Good offensive line. The Rams have the best defensive line in the NFL. Aaron Donald is already a terror, and now it's a light resistance with a really poor offensive line. So I think we're in agreement. We're seeing the same thing, which is I don't think the Bengals' offensive line is going to. And by the way, the Bengals were losing. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. Patrick Mahomes choked in that game. He choked, and you know what? It's the pressure. It was the pressure of expectations. It's the pressure of everybody hating on your brother. I'm sorry, it's real. And your fiance, you go home. I don't have hatred for those people. You go home, you feel it. There was a lot of pressure on that kid, and he crumbled at the end. There's no reason you lose a game when you're up 21-0 like that. I don't think the Bengals did anything that great. I think that the Chiefs choked that game away, and the Rams got there the hard way, right? They got there the hard way. They beat their rival. They beat a team that they could never beat before. Feels like season of destiny for poor. You know, there are 2 redemption stories going on this Rams team. 2. Number 1, two guys came from the shittiest of franchises. First, you got Matt Stafford, and I you know, potential MVP bet Matt Stafford. Put that down, right? You got Matt Stafford, who everybody at this point was kind of thinking was, you know, the next coming of Jay Cutler. All right, let's be real. He's looked at as like, hey, he was a top 10, but not a top 5, always better than average. But hey, he was on teams that lost all the time. You know what I mean? Because he was with the fucking Lions, who stink, and they're a terrible franchise. Now you got OBJ, who we all thought was a cancer. He was fake. He was fake news, not real. Caught 1 ball, awesome catch. We appreciate it. Built a whole reputation on 1 catch. Because we've seen him for the last 3 years be terrible with the Browns. And then we discovered, no, it wasn't Odell. Just Baker Mayfield sucks. And who knew? It wasn't him. His father was right. John, I mean, you're big into mismatches in general. Like, what do your numbers say about just this O-line, D-line mismatch? Is this enough to provide a 4-point spread? Like, I also think the offense for the Rams is superior. Sorry.
Yeah.
Catch me on. You know, what am I going to do? I think they're better too.
It is. I mean, that was the main thing. I mean, Anthony basically hit the exact point where I think the biggest differentiating factor in this game, and that is on that offensive line for Cincinnati. Can they hold up against the Rams? I just don't think they can. I think the defensive front dominates this game. And you're looking at 2 teams that throw the ball at a much higher rate than most teams in the NFL. So I expect Cincinnati to throw the ball, and then I expect them to be down and have to throw the ball even more, which is going to play into the Rams defense. So I agree here. I like the Rams. I think the Rams, if the Rams take this by double digits, certainly not going to be shocked. If it's not all that exciting a game, I won't be shocked. I think Cincinnati is an above average team. I mean, they're in the Super Bowl, but they're an above average team. They're not a great team. I love Burrow, love the story. But this is not a great team. Not that the Rams are a great team, but the Rams were an upper echelon team, I think, this season. Coming into the season, we thought the Rams had a shot. I mean, they were one of the teams you'd probably pick, of the 4 or 5 teams that you thought might win the Super Bowl. It was the Rams. They've had an up and down. Early in the year, they were the greatest team. They beat Tampa at home. That was it. They were on their way. They come back. They throw that dud against Arizona. But that's the way the NFL's been this year. I mean, there was no team that really stepped up and dominated and said, okay, we're the best team in the league. No one did it. I thought collectively, I run the numbers, and every single year for the last 10 plus years on Super Bowl team, this was the worst collection of playoff teams that I've run the numbers on. So I was expecting there to be an upset, or not necessarily the favorite to come in here and win. Unfortunately, I didn't have the Rams or Cincinnati in my futures as far as before the playoffs, but I was anticipating it wasn't going to be Kansas City, it wasn't going to be Tampa, it wasn't going to be Green Bay, it was going to be one of these other teams, and that's what we've got here. So, I mean, am I going to be shocked with anything that goes on? Can Cincinnati win the game? Of course, Cincinnati can win, but I'm definitely leaning on the Rams side of this game. I think they're close in a lot of categories, and I analyze that in my article. But I give the Rams almost a nod in every one of them, even though they're close. And then the biggest edge is what Anthony hit on, and that is, can they protect Burrow? I don't think they can.
And the other thing too is, and I know that the Rams haven't deployed Jaylen Ramsey as a pure cover. And Geek, we talk about that a lot, about Jaylen Ramsey being locked in on your number one receiver, and they don't really do that. Usually plays the sides, but if they wanted to, boy, man, having Jaylen Ramsey at your disposal, I think is a big deal. People make a big deal because he got beat 2 weeks ago in the championship game, right? Jaylen Ramsey's a great cover corner, man. And having that weapon that you can put on Chase is a big deal, especially with a line as suspect as Cincinnati's. So you got the big corner, right? The big cover corner, and then couple that with pressure. That's going to be a tough day for Joe Burrow.
There's no doubt. Now, I do not think, by the way, a couple of little things we covered on the Super Bowl Showdown DFS breakdown over at DFS Army last night was, I do not think that they will employ Jaylen Ramsey as a cover, as a shadow at all in this one, because T. Higgins is good. He's really good too. So I think, but it doesn't even matter. What matters is you can shut down one side of the field. Well, listen, this is what makes the Rams defense elite. Jaylen Ramsey is a big part of what makes that defense elite, because anytime you can cover a guy with one cornerback, you could put a safety over top on the other guy. And then who do the Bengals really have? Chase, he's elite talent. But if let's assume Ramsey is on Chase for this point. And then you have safety help for T. Higgins. You got an injured tight end. You've got a running back, by the way, who cannot pass block. A big problem with Joe Mixon. He cannot block. He can't pass block. That's why Samaje Perine is in the game. And so you got this running back he can't be in there on 3rd and long. He's not even in the game. And then you've got Tyler Boyd, who's basically, a little, you're not winning with Tyler Boyd. So they can move the football, but if you're able to cover over top on T, if you're able to put Ramsey on Chase or the opposite, doesn't matter. It just cuts down on the options significantly for Joe Cool. So, by the way, I've heard, and listen, this is a rumor, but I've heard that Joe Burrow is partying hard right now. He is. I've seen pictures. I'll show something on screen. Not a lot of people know about this, but I've seen pictures. He is not looking very good. I'm going to show you some. Hold on. Let me throw this on screen because you guys are going to be blown away by this. I'm telling you right now, this guy, from what I can tell, has been partying hard I mean, he's smoking cigarettes. I mean, the guy's smoking cigarettes down there. What are you doing, Joe? It's the Super Bowl. You got to get your shit together. He doesn't look good.
You're out of your mind.
He doesn't look that good. If you guys are listening and not watching, my boy is smoking cigarettes. He's got long hair. He looks disheveled. If I didn't know better, I wouldn't even think this is an athlete.
What's wrong with a couple Newports from? I mean,
he's smoking Newports. Come on, man. You're a football player. He's taking the cigar thing too far. It went for that's why like the celebratory cigar, it's the gateway drug. Now he's got Newports.
Now he's got heaters.
All right, so official bets time, and then we're going to get into some fun props because how much more can we talk about? So official bets, I think I got the gist that we all are on the Rams here. For me, I'm betting only on Caesars. I am taking the better odds. Let's not be stupid. And if you're in a place where you can access Caesars and you haven't signed up, make sure to go on the Sharp app because they have incredible deals. If you click on the links via the Sharp app to sign up for Caesars, you're going to get right now it's $1,500 bet match. It's like crazy, all kinds of great deals when you go through the links on the app. But I'm going to Caesars. I like them. I like the Rams money line -175. I'll take it in case it's close. I'll take the -3.5 and I'll lay the points. And if I know Cuz, and I do, I know you're taking it further, but I'm not going there. I'm gonna let you go there. So wait, I'll go to John second because I want to see where you're at. John, official bet from you, because if you can give out the Bengals just so we can hedge our little show here.
I already gave out the Rams, so I gotta stick with it. So I'm
go.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Rams here on this as well. I'm gonna get into when we get into the props a couple of cases you can make for Cincinnati and their defensive line because I think they're gonna get pressure as well in this game. But we'll talk about that in prop. But I don't love the game. It's not one of those. I'm not putting both fists in my pocket and throwing everything at it. It's the Super Bowl. We got to bet it, and so I'm gonna take the Rams.
Unenthusiastically.
No, it's not enthusiastic. I'm not as enthusiastic as Cuz.
Cuz, give it to me.
I am enthusiastic, and to me, it's a 15-unit play on the Rams, but I would do it Rams -3. I would buy a hook down. Listen, you might as well do that. You could do the money line like you said, which I like that strategy, and then I would certainly lay Rams -10. I would lay Rams -17, and then I would also mess around with that. One of my favorite plays to play your pizza bets is the winning margin for the game, and I would use that 13-17, which I think is live, 18-24, and then 25-31. I would
25.
I would do all that.
What is do we know the odds on the 18-25, for example?
So you look at it. I last I saw was I think 17. It was like plus 1,500, something like that.
John thought I was talking about the dating age of his recent girlfriends, 18-25. But
yeah, so I like those plays. Mess around. It's just his pizza bets, little fun bets that I lay. I lay my big bet on the Rams. I would lay them. -10 and then -17, and then I'll come in with the winning margins. And if it's a Rams blowout, I'm smiling all the way.
I love it. And it could happen. Can't you just see it? Burrow having a tough time. That defense.
I can, yeah. I can.
It is,
and I can see a letdown too. This postseason has been so good that I could see a letdown where people are like almost shocked that the game is not, competitive.
Absolutely. All right. So there you have it. We are all on the Rams to varying levels with Cuz on the alt line. Get on it. Pizza bet. What's a pizza bet? Pizza bet's where you put the same amount of money you might spend on a pizza.
Correct.
On the bet.
Right.
What
so,
kind of
if you're
wait. Now you got me thinking, Cuz. You got me thinking. When you order pizza for the game, all right, do you have a go-to place like around you that is like, oh, that's the spot?
Well, I do. But I got to drive to the city. Like we recently moved to the suburbs in New Jersey. So we've been in Jersey for a couple of years. And the minute I moved to Jersey, all the good food stopped.
It's in the city.
So it's in the city, which is, in my case, Philly. In your case, New York,
Brooklyn.
Manhattan. But, well, you're in Brooklyn, so you're good. But, Philly, I got to go across the bridge to get a decent pie. And it will be, I'll bring that back. I will take a ride. It's a big deal in the Garganos. We'll have a big party, and the kids will want to eat, and we'll do, cheesesteaks and pizza and hoagies, and it'll be a fun day.
Bobby's saying his normal unit size is half a pizza already.
Yeah.
We got to call it a slice bet. Just a slice.
I think I got a text message from my dad the other day. He said he paid like, I don't know, $4 and change or something like that for a slice or something like that. So
slice bet. Where'd he go? Sbarro's?
I don't know where. No, yeah. Well, the original Sbarro is in Brooklyn, but I think it was like $4.90. So I gave him the old, when your grandmother used to be like, I can remember when, pizza. I'm like, boy, I remember when it was $1 a slice. He goes, I remember when it was a quarter. He came back with that.
No, there's no good price for $1. John, where are you getting your pizzas for the game from? Is there a good place in your? Is there a Tampa spot? I seen Portnoy in Tampa walking around to some nice places.
No, I don't know of any good pizza spots around.
You can't even eat pizza. You're gluten, dairy. You don't eat.
I got a lot of, I got celiac. I got things I got to deal with.
No,
I'm eating no processed food.
Bread, right? You're off the bread.
There's no bread for John.
I can't have any bread.
Yeah,
I can have the gluten-free crap, and even that I can't even eat. Doesn't work well. I can make my own. That works.
Wow.
There's a place by me. One of the family members of the original Grimaldi, Patsy Grimaldi family. So one of the family, like the niece of Patsy Grimaldi himself, opened a pizza place in my town, not in Brooklyn. I'm in Rockland, so I'm north of the side. I grew up in Brooklyn, but where I am now, which should not have anything good because I'm in like suburban, place of deers running around and shit. But I'm in suburbia. But there is a Grimaldi family special location right by my house. So that's where, when you want the goods, you go to that place. Agnello's, it's what it's called. And
Agnello's is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's renowned. That's incredible.
Good stuff.
You're quite fortunate, Geek. You're a lucky bastard.
I'll seek out the whole town. Took me a couple of years living here to find a Chinese place I could eat and stomach. I go to every one by one. So, all right. So let's get into. Real
quick. If you do it when you do your pie, are you doing plain or are you doing a topping?
No toppings. Okay. Never topping. Never. You're a toppings guy?
Well, the kid likes pepperoni.
You got wrong with pepperoni.
The little curlies, though, not the big ones.
Exactly, not the fat pepperoni. The thick little one that curls up. Stats.
Yeah. The little curlies.
Or sausage. You could do sausage.
Yeah, sausage. Yeah, definitely.
But no, people get I'm saying I like a pepperoni and or sauce, but people get crazy. I never put fruit on the.
That's terrible.
Sake.
That's terrible.
Let's leave that to California.
No, and by the way, football pizza is plain pizza. You could do pepperoni, I'll accept it.
Right.
But football pizza should not have any sort of truffles.
Right.
It shouldn't have any kind of lettuce or something that looks like lettuce on it.
Right.
None of that. I don't want
no buffalo chicken.
No buffalo chicken. No, I don't want. What is it? Vodka, penne and vodka sauce on top of my pizza slice. I don't want that.
I agree.
I'm going to eat it separate in a bowl. Don't put it on the pizza.
Right.
Don't eat it on the pizza.
You could do. Listen,
pizza's
acceptable. Wings are acceptable for the game. Now you could do a nice spread, a nice Italian deli spread. Some gabagool.
That's only someone who has celiacs is talking like this.
Yes. No, but the gabagool is good.
Yeah.
The Genoa.
A little salami. Nice. Exactly. Could do a nice little spread like that. That I like with the cheese.
How about the bowlie? You like a bowlie?
Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
I don't eat any of that shit.
How about the chicken? You gonna get the chicken, Geek?
Which
chicken? Stromboli?
No, he does his fried chicken.
I love fried chicken.
Oh, yeah.
Any chicken that you fry, I'm happy. My wife made eggplant parmesan the other day.
Oh yeah, nice.
Frying it up. I had never smelled the smell of frying in my household. I'm married for almost 20 years. I had never smelled a frying smell. I'm like, who's frying shit in this house? It's never happened before. I don't know what came over. We had an eggplant. She fried it up.
She sliced it
That's
nice and
fantastic.
Thin slice. It was good. And it was, John, you would have liked it. Gluten-free breadcrumbs. Panko.
Lovely.
Panko crust.
Nice.
So, all right, let's get into some bets, guys. The props, the fun stuff. One of the best parts about the Super Bowl is you're hanging with your friends. You're doing a lot of dumb shit. Like you're playing boxes. I got no strategy for boxes. It's a pure lottery pull.
Right.
It's a pure lotto. We don't have help for that. But we do have some really cool props that, and John just wrote an article on Sharp App, but let's start there. And John, give me a couple of prop bets that you love for the Super Bowl, some fun stuff.
Well, I don't know how fun they are, but
they're all fun.
So firstly though, with the props, let me get this out there, because when you're playing the props, understand that a lot of them are connected, right? They're correlated. So if you're looking at Stafford props, Stafford yardage props, and then you're playing Cup yardage props, right? These things are all correlated. So be careful betting one unit on each one of these, because if Stafford has a clunker of a game, there's a good chance Cup has a Cup. This is DFS type of mentality here, because there's correlations in play. So kind of map out all the props that you like, and then adjust your bet sizes accordingly. You're going to want to bet down. I mean, you could lose, if you're wrong on one opinion, you may make 7 bets based on that opinion and lose far more than you need to. So adjust your risk.
How do you feel about parlaying them together? Now, all of the sites, or almost all of them at this point, are promoting they're allowing same game parlays. That's a big thing on all of the books. They're not only that, they're giving me boosts. By the way, the boosts are crazy right now. Again, I saw part of the reason we want to have every single sports book in your state on your phone is because I get in every single morning. I wake up, I'm like, what the promo? And they're like, oh, you're in New York. Every 3-pointer the Knicks scored today, you're going to get an extra 3 points if you bet $50 on the Knicks. I'm like, little math, free money, I'll take it. Like every day they all send me stuff like that. And for the Super Bowl, they're going crazy. So John, if I like the Rams to win and I like them on the money line, should I just bother with that bet, or should it be propped with Cooper Kupp scores a touchdown? Should I be parlaying that with, other things that I like that will probably lead to this win?
That's the answer is going to be, it depends. And that depends on if you're getting these boosters. If they're giving you these boosters, then absolutely play it that way, because now you're getting, in a lot of instances, you're getting better than what the probability of that occurring can be. So take advantage. I mean, shop around. Again, like you said, this is the advantage of having multiple sports books. This is the advantage. When I was growing up, these did not exist, right? You had your local guy. He wasn't giving you any bonuses. He wasn't giving you a boost, right? You had one guy, whatever the line was, he had, and the only props you ever had were on the Super Bowl. Now I could play props on tonight's NBA games like crazy. So you've got an advantage here, and take advantage of the fact that they're trying to get new clients. They're trying to get new customers, and they're giving you these great bonuses just to sign up. You can make money now just by registering, signing up, putting a couple of bucks on your account and playing just boosts. They'll give you, you're gonna build your bankroll that way. So yes, in certain instances, if you're getting boosted on these single game parlays, go ahead and play it that way. If you have an opinion on the game, like you said, you think this is going to be a Rams blowout type of game, play a few parlays that fit that narrative, because you're actually going to get a better payout, and you can play for a small amount of risk. You can play 3 or 4 of them for a relatively small amount of risk, and have yourself a lot of fun, the same amount of fun as you may have otherwise, and have a decent payout on those. So I like that. I like that call, Geek, when you're getting these boosts.
Now, I did mention an actual bet that I do have on, which is Cooper Kupp to score a touchdown and Rams to win the game. I love that parlay. Not because I think that the Rams winning is directly tied to Cooper Kupp scoring a touchdown, but rather I just like both bets. I like Kupp, and I like to score, and I like, of course, the Rams to win the game. And when I parlay it together, I'm getting plus money. I'm getting plus money on what I have to pay, minus 160, minus 170 on either side. I get plus money on it. So that's a bet I love. Another one I like, and again, I'm keeping it normal with my props, keeping it normal, not getting weird yet. But another one I like a lot is T. Higgins to score a touchdown. And I like T. I do think that Ramsey will be slightly more likely to be on
Chase.
on Chase than he will be to be on T. Higgins. So just for that reason alone, that's enough for me. So that's enough. T's a big guy. The other part I like about T that I don't think a lot of people are thinking about is the fact that Uzuma is going to be either out or significantly hampered in this game. Azuma's not going to, he's a big, they only have two big guys on the team. Now, of course, Drew Sample will be out there, but he's mostly kind of like a turd version of a tight end. He's not good. So I'm sorry. I'm not trying to keep it real, but he's not that good. So, I think that T. Higgins becomes the big guy that you look for in the red zone, in the end zone. So you can get T. Higgins to score a touchdown on FanDuel and DraftKings for plus 175. It's plus 115 on Caesars. Do you see the discrepancy to have the fucking Sharp app? Get the Sharp app.
Gotta get the Sharp app. You know what? Something I would look at it for some fun, and I again agree with stats, and I'll look at all the parlays for the game script, same game parlay that would be a Rams blowout. But how about this? The last time the Rams played a team with a suspect offensive line, do you remember, guys? You guys watched it. It was against Arizona, and how they dominated Arizona that Monday night in the playoffs. And I take a look at Cincinnati under first half team total, and if there's the prop, which I got to check, for Cincinnati to be shut out.
Ooh.
I would look for a shutout first half. Maybe they score a garbage second half touchdown. But I think it would be you get such big odds, it'd be worth it to take a look at something like that.
I like it. I'm going to share actually a couple of bets that Josh DFS Up North gave out on the Showdown breakdown the other day, which I thought I loved as well. And so I'm tailing them. So I don't want to present these as my own, but I'm tailing them. But I love this one, and it's a fun one. So you ready for this? Jersey number under 23.5 scores first touchdown. That's on DraftKings right now at minus 140. And it covers Chase. It covers Cooper Kupp. It covers a lot of the potential scores. It covers both quarterbacks who one of those guys, I could see Burrow running one in. So I thought it was a little fun prop that
that's a good one.
DFS North came up with. Another one I want to share that I do like a lot as well. Michael Hilton, 4.5 tackles plus assists at Caesars. Now, Hilton is the slot corner who will be on Cooper Kupp the whole game. And the idea being, listen, if Cooper Kupp gets, 4.5 tackles plus assists, that's a reasonable number for a slot corner anyway. But when you add in the fact of how much action he could potentially be seeing covering Cooper Kupp, I like the odds. You can get it at minus 140. What is it right now? Actually, I didn't write down the line, so I don't know what that is. But I believe it's minus money, but not too bad. Like minus 130, minus 140. A really interesting one, and I like the thought behind it. That slot corner going to be engaged with Cooper Kupp the whole game. That's a good risk to take because Kupp will touch the football a lot more than I expect, more than 4 or 5 times, and plus he can get an assist or a tackle on somebody else. John,
I want to throw this out there as I was doing my research, and then I start getting into like deep stuff. We've talked about this year why scoring being down on the season, and no one really came up with a good explanation. I started digging into penalties because when you can't see it necessarily, sometimes it's penalties. But what I was looking at so far this year, because I saw holding penalties were up this year, offensive holding penalties, which would certainly decrease scoring in the league. But look what I looked at for this year. So penalties per play in the NFL during the regular season, there was one penalty every 13 plays this year. In the playoffs, that's gone from 13 up to 15.8. So almost 3 more plays without a penalty. That's obviously a pretty big number. Yeah. Now you look at the offensive holding penalty. It went from 2.43 offensive holding penalties per game in the regular season down to 1.75 in the playoffs. So they're sort of letting them play a little bit here in the playoffs. So we can expect, and the scoring went from 46 up to 48. I believe we're 48.6 or 7 or something like that. I think 48.7 points on average so far in playoff games. And that's right where we are with the total, right? So we're at 48.5, and that's probably right where the number should be. But what we can anticipate, I think, is just a little bit more. The drives are going to last a little bit longer if they're going to allow these guys to hold a little bit. So I'm looking at, and I think what we talked about earlier, which was both of these teams are passing teams. They're not throwing teams. By the way, the Rams have the highest pass percentage touchdowns in football by a lot. That's actually a key number when you're handicapping. They've thrown 77% of their touchdowns are via the pass. No one's close. I think they're 7% higher. Now, Cincinnati was like 4th. So these are teams, they like to throw the ball. Their percentage of passing is high. So I think the attempts is where I want to look at. Pass attempts by both teams for overs. So Burrow and Stafford on the overs for pass attempts. I like to keep it. Listen, I do this. It's always got to be scientific for me. So it hurts my brain sometimes doing all this stuff. But I like to keep, I have a hard time figuring out who's going to be the first touchdown. It's a little bit, there's a lot more luck involved in who's going to get that first touchdown. But things like how many passes are being thrown, how many complete, things that we can have, we have some data for are a little bit easier to predict. So I like the over in pass attempts. It's one less variable. The attempts don't necessarily need the catch associated with them. So I do like the attempts.
You want some science? You want some science?
Give me some science.
For score, I've dropped some science on you. Fauci style. About to drop the science. John, the Bengals have scored first in just 4 of their last 13 games. They are a slow starting, come from behind team.
That's a great call.
Therefore, your next official prop bet, Rams score first. Boom.
I love it.
First team to score. Bengals, we saw it against the Chiefs, basically all playoffs. That's part of the reason why the playoffs have been so fucking awesome. They kind of start slow and then they come back.
Well, to that, maybe I believe Anthony was talking about it earlier, which was the Bengals to get shipped. Maybe you want to take Rams first quarter, take Rams first half.
There you go. That was the other ones. And by the way, I got some science on those two also, if you want to drop some science. Bengals have covered the game total. They have covered the over. The second half over or they've hit the under in 9 of their last 10 games for a 71% ROI. So if you've been betting the Bengals first half under, you're winning money at a 71% clip.
That's why I wanted to play the Bengals shutout first half, because I think that's a possibility.
There we go. So I think I love that we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
The unders on the early, like Rams win first half.
Yeah.
Bengals under team total. I assume the team total, again, we can go across the books. These type of prop bets, by the way, they're on all the books, but they're different in all of them. And unfortunately, they're so unique. We can't compare them without actually physically going to each book and looking. But usually these are 50-50 propositions. We just want to find the highest number for the under. And I like all of the bets that assume the Bengals will start the game slowly or the Rams will outscore them in the first half. So look for those style props. That's definitely something I like. And by the way, shout out to the team over at Sharp App, because we've just those stats I was just tossing out, the science, Fauci science, that stuff is coming off of our new betting trends tab. We just added this awesome feature to the Game Center. Every game, it gives you every trend that you could possibly want, need, or desire. All you got to do is on the Sharp app itself, you just click on the Game Center, go over to the betting trends. I'm on the props tool now. That's how I'm getting these props up. But you go over to the Game Center, you click on betting trends, all of this stuff. You know what the biggest ROI trend is? The Bengals have covered it's It's the second quarter game total under.
See, I knew you didn't do this research yourself, Geek.
Oh no,
I knew you had the help.
I have to. What am I gonna go back and look? I got a fucking trends tool.
I was shocked. I'm like, Geek's coming out with math. He's coming out with numbers, and of course, he's just using the app.
I should have just left it at that. I should have just left it.
I was impressed.
I said, "See, this is the first time ever." He's like, "Oh, yeah, got fucking betting."
I'm like, "Wow, Geek's giving me some good."
Man, we just
and then there he is, just giving us what's inside the app.
I mean, it's just an odd. And remember, listen, when you're looking at trends with the Bengals, they played a bunch of crappy. They're winning a bunch of games to get here. They're in the Super Bowl. Like they've been winning these last few games. Like all of the positive trends are there. It doesn't matter that much, but I think we all watch the games and we agree that if one of these two teams is likely to start slow, it's probably the Bengals. They're the worse offense. The other team's got the better defense. And then weird shit happens in a game, and who knows from there. But yeah, I like the idea of Rams scoring first. All of the Rams start hot type props are exciting for me.
Let me tell you though, the props inside the app is, I mean, if you haven't downloaded, I'm assuming everyone watching this has downloaded it, but if you haven't, I mean, it saved me. I can't tell you how much time it saved me just going through the prop, because if I have to go to 5 sports books and try to figure out every prop at every book, and then I got to look them all up. I mean, it's right there at your fingertips, and I could quickly glance at it. Some of them you got to do a little math, because on the yardages, maybe which one of these is better with the juice. And I go into that in the article if you guys are interested in that, which is also in the app. But on the simple ones with like 1.5 touchdowns or something like that, the Burrow to throw 1.5 touchdowns. So all you got to do is go look and like, all right, they've got it at -115. They've got it at -130. They've got it at real simple. To do that on your own is going to take. It defeats the whole you lose a lot of fun. So this is right at your fingertips. You could be able to within minutes just figure out which is the best props on the ones that you like and put them in. So it saved me a ton of time today when I was writing that article.
I love it. John, do you and Cuz, do you partake in bets like, the coin flip or the length of the national anthem, some of the silly bets for the Super Bowl?
Nah, I'm kind of, I like the football stuff. I mean, I know people can handicap. Oh, if you go back to this anthem and this person when they sang it, I like the fun ones that are football, kind of thing. Like one of the things I'm eyeing up is the MVP, and I think there's a lot of value on Aaron Donald as an MVP.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it fits your narrative, right? And with the defensive line really dominating this game, so yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
How about? And I love that, and that's a big time number too. Was that got to be plus 900?
More than that, I saw plus 1300. One book. Okay. Yeah,
and that was a guess. I don't have it open in front of me, but that's really interesting. I like. Listen, another we talked about parlays, same game parlays. I don't understand, or I'm going to say this as an overall for the MVP bet. I don't know if you'll even be allowed to do this on the app. So check it out. But you don't get MVP if your team don't win. So seems to me that every MVP bet should be parlayed with that team winning the game. So that Aaron Donald bet, if it's possible to combine, I would combine that with Rams money line. I'd probably combine it not even with Rams money line. I might combine it with just Rams against the spread, or even better, Rams and an alt line, because if Aaron Donald is getting the MVP, that means he probably dominated the game. That means Rams dominated defensively. That probably means they won by a lot.
Plus 1,600, by the way, on that one on draft.
Yeah, plus 1,600. Can you parlay that, John? Is that parlayable?
Probably not.
Yeah,
probably not.
They'd be smart to disallow that.
It's a good thought. It's a good thought, to be able to do that. You're right.
I think if you also talk MVP, I think the other two, and there are only really two other candidates that I think are legitimate on the Rams. Of course, Stafford, the quarterback, is always the guy. And then the other guy is Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp could get MVP.
Yeah.
And all of those are very significant plus money bets. So I don't mind even taking a little juice on all three of those.
Yeah.
Let one of them pay off, the other two won't. Make sure that if one pays off, it more than covers the other two, and it makes you a bunch of money as well. And as long as you work the math to that benefit,
that's a great strategy.
Yeah, I think if you're talking, if we're going to start talking to non-quarterbacks, I haven't thought about it much, but I think it would be really difficult for someone other than, as far as a receiver, other than Kupp, because if Stafford, if one of the other receivers goes off, that means Stafford must have had a pretty big game, and I think it's going to have to go to Stafford. So I think at least on that side of the ball, it would be pretty tough for it to be anyone other than Stafford or Kupp, unless the game goes differently and the running game becomes a lot different.
Like, does Akers have a big day and they're winning comfortably, and he rushes for a one, breaks a couple. But I agree with you. I mean, the odds are it's either going to be Stafford or Kupp on that side, and then if he has a big day, forces a fumble, has 3 sacks, I think Aaron Donald will be live.
I'm gonna give you guys a couple of bets that I have currently in play, and I want to actually just get your opinions on. I already made the bets. So, I've been enjoying any kind of boosted line or anything that these little combinations. So here's one I love. This is, I bet there's money on the line here, guys. Will Aaron Donald record a sack? Yes. -190 on Caesars, 2-unit bet. Yeah, he's going to record a sack.
I love it. Yeah.
-190. Sure. I actually like the alt version of that. He's going to record 2 sacks, 3 sacks. But 1, yeah. How about Cooper Kupp? This one is crazy. Cooper, is this an alt line? Okay. Cam Akers scores a touchdown. Cooper Kupp scores a touchdown. +265 odds for both. So it's a parlay of Akers and Cooper Kupp.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, for +260. So really good odds. Uh-oh. Bobby's killing me, man. I love that. You don't want your wife catching you look up Jacelin's free play of the day. I love that. How about this? So here's another one I've got. A lot of these same game parlays. So I have a little bit too much Cam Akers in my for a guy who's kind of like injured. I have a little too much of Cam Akers showing up in my stuff, but the odds are really good. So Cam Akers 62 rushing yards. This is my giant parlay. Okay, my pizza bet. This is my pizza parlay. This is real. I got this bet on the app. So I got Akers over 62 rushing yards, and I like all of these individually. T. Higgins over 5.5 receptions, because I think that they're going to be throwing all day, playing from behind on the Bengals. Over 1.5 touchdown for Matt Stafford, and Cooper Kupp to score a touchdown. Combo +650 odds, $25, returns $195.
I love it. I love it.
Bet.
Yeah, it's a good bet.
That's an Agnello's. That's an Agnello's pizza. It's a little more expensive, $25 pie.
That's a good pie, though.
It's worth it.
It's
better ingredients.
That's the grandmama pie.
Yeah.
I like that bet. I like that a lot.
I was looking at I like the over on Stafford touchdowns, and I believe one book, everyone had it at 1.5. I think there was one book, I want to say maybe FanDuel had it at 2.5, at +148. I'd have to go back and look, but there was a +148, 2.5, and that was actually better than the 1.5s that are out there. Just from so if you do the math. So I know.
Wait, I will find that on the Sharp app as you're talking.
Yeah, it's on the app, and it's in my article. But I believe it was +2.5. I'm pretty sure it was FanDuel. 2.5 +148 is a better number than all the 1.5s that are out there right now. So there's math behind it. It's not so obvious sometimes when the number that the target number is different, which are the better prices. But that one in that case, now most people are going to go to the 1.5 because they want to win. I can get into the whole psychology of sports betting and risk taking.
All right. Here you go. You want the numbers, John?
Yeah, go ahead.
FanDuel is the +2.5, the only one. They're at +148.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
this is way better. Every other book is at 1.5, and it's minus. They're all right about the same level, -210, -220. So one extra touchdown, you're flipping minus 220 over to plus 150. Yeah, you got to go with.
Yeah, I like the 148. I mean, my projections, I have them somewhere around throwing for 2 touchdowns. But you got to take the juice into account. If you're giving me plus 148 for 2, I like that number better than the 1.5. So
this would be a rare.
I agree.
For me, this is going to be a rare usage of the FanDuel Sports app. Don't know why I never use it. Of all of them, that's the least one I've used, but I'm doing it for this bet. I'm jumping on that. Yeah. Sure, I think they're definitely. I think they're going to style. What the Rams are going up against, let's recall, guys. And part of the reason I have the Cam Akers bets on, let me explain that one. I don't love the injury suspicions, and quite honestly, I'm not a doctor. I don't know what to do with it. So I have to assume that the guy's playing. He's going to be fine. He's had 2 weeks off. What's the problem? Right? This is a man who came back from an Achilles in like 8 weeks. Like, it took 2 years for most players to come back from this. So here's my thought with the Akers stuff. It's basically Akers has not performed well in the playoffs, but look who he's faced. The Bucs, not a team that you're ever playing a running back against. Then he goes up against the number 1 in the league ranked San Francisco run defense. So he's essentially seen in the 2 games that this guy has played, he's seen the 2 best run defenses just about in the National Football League. So he's fooled us into thinking he's not that good or he's not fully recovered. But what if what we have seen from Akers and the sort of mediocrity was every running back's mediocre against the 49ers. They're the 49ers. They're number 1 DVOA against the run. There's no better team against the run in the second half of the season this year than the 49ers. And the Bucs are known for 3 seasons now as a team you cannot run against. So straight up, as long as Akers, and Bobby Allen loves Akers, listen, as long as Akers plays this game and gets the volume that he's gotten in the last 2 games, which 20-plus touches, he is going to absolutely smash every single prop because these props are based on the last 2 games. He played.
I agree. Yeah.
Now,
remember when he played Arizona, he was effective. Remember when he comes back and was it Seattle? It's really bad against the run, and he had Mont. He was reeling off 8, 10, yards a pop. I agree. I think that's a really good play. And remember McVay. McVay's a guy who likes to run the ball. He's not a guy. Even though most of their touchdown passes come through the air, which I think is a product of their offense, McVay doesn't stray too far from the run. So I agree with you. I like Akers props.
Yeah. Again, there is a risk here. Obviously, the shoulder injury and the whole deal, and maybe they lower his volume. But I don't think we can predict what will happen with that. So I'm just going with, one of my DFS philosophies, which is stud off a dud. I love it when good players come off bad matchups, multiple bad matchups, where we're like, dude, I wasn't playing him last week anyway. It was a bad matchup. I expected him to do poorly, and he did, right? So why do we penalize them when we expect them to do poorly and they do, and then assume that they're going to do the same thing against a bottom feeder run defense like what the Bengals have? I don't see it that way. So I could see Akers. And I also think, picture this, if you're the Bengals defensive coordinator, right, and you're preparing for this game, all you're thinking is, we got to stop Cooper Kupp. We got to stop Cooper Kupp. This guy is killing everybody. Let's do everything we can. So who are you taking to stop Cooper Kupp? You're like, well, we don't need to worry too much about Akers. He ain't done shit. Like, I watched him, and he didn't do that much. So what are they doing? They're taking a linebacker out. They're bringing in an extra safety to play him over top against Cooper Kupp. Let's drop a linebacker back into coverage, stop Kupp from what he does. That will benefit Akers. So game planning from the Bengals to stop Kupp would benefit Akers. Again, it's just the injury that I'm worried about, guys. That's about it.
Listen, I like the strategy. I mean, look, Cincinnati, you want to drop 7. You want to, I think, Russ put 7 in the box and drop that extra defensive back because, not just Kupp, but you got Beckham and Jefferson's, and Higbee. I mean, they got a lot of weapons through the air. I agree. It's sound logic.
Absolutely.
John, Bobby's mentioning the receiving yardage for Akers. I actually like that better than the rushing yardage. So it's 15. I have it projected at 16.5. The 15.5 is the number. I mean, it's not a huge difference, but if things go the way I think, the way I like to think the game is going to be played, I do think he gets that 15.5 number.
I like that too. How about number of receptions? I don't know what it is for Akers.
Yeah.
I think the over on reception number for Joe Mixon might be interesting. Or even Samaje Perine, who I believe the over is 1.5 on receptions. And again, from what I've seen of this Bengals team, Joe Mixon cannot block. He can't pass block. So they're going to have Samaje in the game, on obvious pass rush situations. And one of the ways you get out of the pass rush is the check down to the running back. So I could see Samaje going over 1.5 receptions. No one wants that. Like, oh, Samaje Perine, I don't want to play that. But yeah, I could see that. I could see that being something to take a look at on the overside. We're focused. I thought, it's funny. I thought John was going to bring some stats on like the national anthem.
No, actually, I bet no, I don't have any national anthem stats. Last year they were standing outside Dale Mabry, the stadium over here in Tampa, and they were listening to the anthem on the during the rehearsal, and people were tweeting out the time of it. But no, I actually bet the coin toss because I got a boost on it, so I'm getting plus 119 on the coin toss. So you have to bet it 50-50 proposition. I'm getting plus 119.
Which is that your local man? Your local?
No. I got it through someone in one of the legal sports books. So I do have some action on tails if anyone cares.
The Armenians don't boost anything for me. No.
I get benefits. I'm going to the Daytona 500. I get a lot of benefits from these guys. Draftkings sending me to Daytona 500 next week. So
they don't send me shit. By the way, I do a lot of volume. They hate me. I asked for UFC tickets. They're like, yeah, no, we don't have any. And John's like, oh, really? I got from them. Oh, what the fuck? What? You're going? What am I, chopped liver?
Never been to NASCAR, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, what about me? Awesome. That's cool. Daytona's an awesome race. Cuz any other final thoughts on the big one?
Nah, I mean, I think we covered most of it. I'm telling you, I really feel strongly about this. I think it's going to be a Rams, and I think Rams defense is the story, and I like them big. So I'm all any which way you can put the Rams and all those factors in that kind of game script. I'm all about it.
I'm betting a lot of Rams win and Stafford does this. Rams win and Kupp does that. I'm doing a lot of that.
Please use the sacks. Go over the sacks because I think that's legit.
You just stole my thunder, Anthony. I was going to say look for sack numbers because I think both teams are going to get sacks in this game. So look for sack numbers on your props. I like that because I think there's going to be a lot of throwing and a lot of pressure from both defensive lines. So and one thing about Cincinnati is they get pressure without blitzing. The Rams will blitz more, but I think in this game we've talked about Ramsey a lot. If they could get pressure up front, and I think they can. I don't think they need to blitz Cincinnati. It's a long day for Cincinnati because if you could get pressure with 4 guys and then have Ramsey shut one guy down, all you're doing now is just putting the coverage on everyone else. So now you don't have to put Ramsey on Chase. You can put Ramsey on Higgins, right? Double Chase. So now you got a double team Chase. Higgins is on lockdown. 4 guys are getting to Burrow. Good luck. So that does bode well for the Pirines and Mixon pass catching dump off. So take a look at that.
Yeah, I like that.
But I like the sack numbers. I would go over sack numbers across the board in this game in props.
I love it. Yep. All right, let's wrap it up there, guys. The Wiseguys, last NFL show of the 2021 season. Cuz it's been awesome hanging out with you this whole season.
Oh my God, we got to do something else though. All right,
we're going to keep it going. We're going to talk about what we can keep going in the off season. We got to keep it up. Stats, thanks for coming on, my man. Great insights on these bets. And everybody enjoy the game, man. Get your favorite pizza place. Don't be afraid to travel. Don't be scared to travel. You got guests coming to your house. Do it right. A little Entenmann's cake, a little Entenmann's, some pizza, a little Entenmann's.
You need the devil's what is it? The devil food cake with the marshmallow.
Whatever you're into, man. A little Entenmann's, like mom used to.
Yeah, the Entenmann's. Yeah.
Mom kept it. Don't touch the Entenmann's. That's for company.
My dad used to lose his mind. He'd buy Entenmann's and be gone the next day, and he's
that's for company only.
You get home from work and gone.
I want to be clear that that's a Sebastian Maniscalco line. I did not make that up. Yeah, I did not make that
man.
up. I want to credit him for that.
Be gone.
Yeah.
By the time he got home from work, and I knew, and then I never knew about that until I had a roommate. Me and my buddy Sully. Everyone's got a buddy Sully. I had my buddy Sully. We lived together when I was younger, and man, sometimes I'd be working late, and all that was on my mind was I'm going to get a piece of that fucking Entenmann's cake when I get home, and that bastard would have it all. He would have eaten my whole Entenmann. I'm like, dude, just tell me so I pick another one up on the way home. It's not the worst missing out on your Entenmann's.
Sully, I can go off on it all day, but Cuz got to run as well, so let's wrap it up there.
All right, boys.
Good stuff, gents. Enjoy the game, boys. And let's crush these bets. Let's do it.
Let's do it.